Hi guys, new hair, yay! Okay, so discussing hurt. What can I say that we didn't say in the last video? We should probably talk about the different kinds of hurt. There's the stub your toe, ouch, kind of hurt. Physical pain, being pinched by my kid, that hurts like a son of a gun. Being put into Kimura, Umaplata, whatever happens in jiu-jitsu that I tap immediately, physical pain. Mental pain. Feeling incapable of accomplishing something due to some limitation, whether it be sheer physical size. For instance, I would not be able to overcome a bunch of opponents in my class because I don't have the technique down, but I also don't have the size, so I'm screwed. So I don't mess with those people yet. Feeling inadequate as far as self-confidence, that would be mental hurt. Being smushed by somebody, being put down by somebody, being verbally abused by somebody, physically abused by somebody, definitely put that in mental hurt. And it's almost October, so I totally have my black licorice jelly beans, which helps with all my pain. I don't know why, I love these daggone things. They're amazing. Physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain. Emotional pain is probably the most difficult because there isn't a very good band-aid. You can't even hide from it that well. That's where a lot of addictions come in because we don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with or even identify emotional pain, emotional hurt. We can say, I'm lonely, but if we can't describe why, then we can't even begin to deal with it or fix it or overcome it or whatever. To say that we're feeling inadequate, it takes a few steps to get to that point where you're feeling inadequate. You feel angry, frustrated, overwhelmed, and you can't quite put everything together. And it's because I feel inadequate, I can't protect the kids. I feel inadequate, I can't do the things I used to be able to do because of a physical limitation or an emotional limitation, depression, fibromyalgia, whatever. Things that you used to do, you can't do anymore. And maybe you're even just out of shape. So the mental one is probably the hardest one to put your finger on, and it's also the one with the biggest stigma on it, because we can talk about, oh, it's, you know, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, or it's Mental Health Awareness Month, or it's, you know, whatever awareness month, and still we don't talk about these things, which is strange, I think. Because almost everybody has something. I mean, I always thought I have OCD, and sometimes when I'm really super stressed, you can tell. Very rare. I'll notice. Certain people in my family will notice, but other people don't normally notice. I hide it pretty well. Coping mechanisms, yay! But, you know, it's not something I really go around and, hi, I'm Jessica, I have OCD, because it doesn't define me. It's just a part of me. Good, bad, and different. It is what it is. A lot of people have temporary depression, especially when we're talking about loss and grief, whether it's loss of a relationship, loss of a job, loss of a friend, loss of a partner, loss of a parent, loss of a pet. Everyone really does go through a mode of depression, and it's okay. Most of the time, it's not permanent. When you can figure out what it is that is holding you underwater, basically, what depression feels like. I mean, I've had temporary bouts, nothing that's needed medication. I've seen counselors once or twice, but that's really helped me through. And I think that if we keep talking about this stuff, people will be more willing to get the help, ask for the help, discuss the idea of getting help. You talk about your loss, you talk about your hurt, you say, okay, how can I use this to make me a better person, a stronger person, the person I want to be after this point in my life? And that's what a counselor, psychiatrist, doctor will help you get to that point. That's their job, to get you to your best self. Yay! So when we're talking about hurt, it's important to know that you don't have to do it alone. No matter what kind of hurt you're going through, whether you broke your arm and it sucks because now you have a physical limitation, you're probably emotionally upset about it, depending on how it happened. You know, maybe you did something stupid and you're like, man, I really shouldn't have done that. Now I'm going to be in this cast for however long, or even a sling for however long, and you can't do all the things you normally would do. That's a big mental thing too, you know? I'm like, oh, what'd you do to your arm? You're like, oh, I did something stupid. Then I'm like, ah, ha, 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 and you're like, you know, I've only broken fingers and toes, knock on wood, so far, so, you know, I haven't had to deal with that, but I know that if I broke something, I would just be super frustrated and super, you know, even if somebody broke my arm for me, I still would be very about that. So, you know, you have to process each part of that, you know, okay, I have a limitation, okay, it sucks. But it's temporary. I know when the cast comes off or whatever. I know I have help. Hopefully, if you don't have help, get help. And if I feel frustrated, here's what I'm going to do when I feel frustrated. I'm going to call a friend. I'm going to realize how grateful I am for everything else in my life. I'm going to go for a jog, because would assume we could still jog with the cast, but I'm going to do something physical that gets all the good juju flowing to get my mind off of what I can't do. I'm going to do something I can do that makes me feel capable and strong and gives me a sense of well-being and clears my mind. That, you know, these are the things that I can do to pass that. And it's the same thing when we talk about loss and hurt. Whether it's the end of a relationship, the loss of a friend or family member or pet, or losing a job, or a situation in life just screwed you over, you know? There's lots of different kind of hurt. When we talk about death and dying, a lot of that is grief hurt. That is a very specific kind of hurt. So specific that they have specific counselors for your grief. There's even a handy-dandy little chart of what you could expect the stages of grief to be like. You won't actually feel that way when you look at that chart, but sometimes when you're in the worst of it, it helps to look at things like that. See how everyone else is dealing with their grief. A lot of people decide to go from grief to joy. I'm very sad that this person has exited my life. It sucks. There's nothing I can do to change it. There's nothing I could have done to change it. It happened. Accept it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to celebrate this person's life. Maybe do a fundraiser in their honor. Maybe have a party. Have family and friends over to celebrate their life and share stories and things that obviously wouldn't have been shared at like a funeral or something like that. Could have a special memorial service in their honor. You could volunteer at their favorite place. Me, I love kids and dogs. When I pass, hopefully someone does something good for kids or dogs. It's the idea that we're turning something that sucks into something that's good. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Because that's what we need to do with our hurt, is we need to understand, A, why we're hurting, and why we're feeling this intense loss. And usually it's pretty obvious. My boyfriend broke up with me. My husband cheated on me. I lost my dog. I lost my friend. Lost my parent, family member. I lost my job. My car broke down and I can't afford to fix it. You know, anything superiorly crappy that can happen to your life, which will happen to all of us at some point or another. And we have to say, okay, what am I going to do now? How am I feeling about this situation? It sucks. If I can do something to change the situation, perhaps if someone has been diagnosed with a long-term health issue, that's always a big one. Endometriosis, maybe learning about that, diabetes even, something every day, heart condition, something every day. Learn about it, because I didn't know much about heart conditions until grandma had a heart attack. I mean, I knew a little, but I didn't know that much. I wanted to know enough to be a part of the conversation to understand how I could be of service, basically. So if it's something that you know is going to be long term, we talk next week about caretakers. Then we want to be informed. I don't want to feel stupid. So I want to be informed. I want to be able to participate in a conversation. I want to be able to listen to my loved one talk about doctor visits, go with them on doctor visits, and understand what the heck's going on. If someone has passed, maybe we want to, kind of go through their life and celebrate the joys and celebrate the sadness and realize the changes and how this person affected your life and what that meaning is to you. When you're talking about relationships, okay, almost everyone tells you now to do a relationship review, which means to start at the beginning. You're like, oh, things were great. I really like this person because A, B, C, and D. It was rough for a while. I broke up with them twice. We ended up back together. Things got better. But I thought things got better. But in reality, I ignored several red flags. And now he cheated on me and I have 2 kids. Anyway, so yeah, relationship review, because you can look back on 50-50 hindsight, realizing, man, this person has been completely passive aggressive to me our entire relationship. Sarcasm has hidden a whole lot of verbal abuse and hurtful, intolerant things. That whole reliving the past from a different perspective can be extremely meaningful and extremely healing. Especially if we're talking about a loved one that you had issues with. Maybe someone that you had fought with. Maybe you realized after they passed that it really wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe you realized after they passed that it was that big of a deal, but you had opportunities to forgive. So you're going to allow yourself forgiveness now. Maybe do a little memorial service for yourself and that person and your relationship and say goodbye to that. When you're talking about a job, okay, it sucks. I lost my job. What am I going to do now? Or I need another job. What am I going to do now? Well, the things that I liked about this job were A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to look for another job with those things. Health insurance, salary, good hours, telecommuting. What I didn't like was this. More than enough hours. Health insurance sucked. But go through it and say, okay, so now I have a direction of where I'm going to go from here. And that's the entire point of going through hurt and loss, is now we have to decide what to do from here. Okay, we can't change anything in the past. You might think you can, but you need to get past that. We can't change anything in the past, so we need to decide now what we're going to do for ourselves now and in the future. Yay! It sounds so easy, right? It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. And you need to allow yourself the room to feel all the things that you're going to feel through the process. For some people, the process is quick. I lost my job. I have to get another one. You have to jump back in. Being poor sucks. My dog passed. Maybe it hurts for 6 months. Maybe it hurts for a year. Maybe it really hurts for a month. And then you start recovering. But then maybe their birthday comes up. Their holidays come up. The same thing with loved ones. Holidays come up. And you're like, I really wish so-and-so was here. Yeah, when I got pregnant, I was like, oh my God, I would give anything for my aunt to be back here. Tell me what to do with myself. Give good advice, help me out, all that sort of thing. I would give anything to have her back to help me even now. So there are those little trigger points where the hurt just kind of stabs you in the back a few times and you feel like you're back to the beginning. You're not back to the beginning. It hurts now. Nothing's going to change that. No one's going to tell you that it doesn't hurt, because even if someone tells you it doesn't hurt, it doesn't matter what they tell you. It hurts. It hurts now. Okay, so we breathe through it. Why does it hurt? Well, because I really would like someone to talk to. I'd like some comfort. I'd like some understanding. I'd like some compassion. I'd like a big hug from my aunt, I want her to tell me it's all going to be okay. Okay, so you identified that need. So you can tell your person, hey, Annie M., I really wish you were here. This is why. I miss you terribly. Please come visit me in my dreams. Send me a sign. Let me know you're around. Okay? That's the best that we can do. When the hurt becomes long-term. And typically this has a lot to do with loss of a relationship or the loss of a parent or partner. Because when you realize that loss, at some point you realize your life will never be the same. Literally, your life is not going to be the same. And if it's a parent or a partner, there are certain traditions that you would have had. So it's not like the great aunt that you call every 3 months to check in, say hi, and share stories. It's the person that you talk to probably every single day, or parents every other day, you know, depending. So the fact that you were so interactive on such a consistent basis is going to make those stabbing pains of twisting hurt come more often. I can't tell you that that's going to be fixed. It's not. It changes. Grief and hurt and loss don't go away. They change. They mature. They transmutate into other better things. But, especially if you're at the beginning of a grief process, it sucks. It sucks. I always recommend people go see a counselor, depending on what, you know, your hurt or loss is. Go see someone to talk about it. Especially if you've never dealt with it before. Especially if you've never dealt with it before. Please, 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 I'm begging you. Go see somebody. Okay? Even if you just listen. Listen to them talk about the grief process. Listen to them talk about whatever. Even if you don't talk a lot, listen. Okay? I love you guys. I'm going to talk to you later. I'll do a few more videos. This is a rough month. Thinking about hurt and loss and death and dying is tough. Just is. But it's a reality. And if you haven't had to face it yet, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. But you will. So this is something that you need to think about, how you'd like your plan of action to be if it occurs, when it occurs. Whether it's a job, a relationship, pet, parent, partner, you know, it's going to happen. Hate to tell you. Burst a bubble. But I love you. And you're strong and you can get through this because, well, you don't have a choice. So I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.